Welcome to episode 14 of the Toronto Until Blue Jays podcast. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. You can find us, our website, torontountilt.com. You can find us on Twitter, @TorontoUntilt. You can find us on YouTube, where the video of this podcast will be posted, Toronto Untilt. And, of course, you can find us on all streaming platforms. That's Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Bleaker, Anchor, all of the things, Toronto Untilt. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. All right. I guess let's get started at what happened this week. Is we do a nice little summary, exactly, weekly recap, game by game.
Brought to you by your sponsor here.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
Saying that so people know it's available to be sponsored.
And then if they want to, slide us some free stuff, we can definitely say your name, 100%. Who's got game one?
Tuesday. All right, so we'll go Tuesday, June 1st. We're gonna start saying the days now because I realize people aren't watching these in order. Tuesday, June 1st, Jays beat the Marlins 5-1. Rowdy Ray, spectacular again. 6 innings, 9 Ks, just the one run. Would have been 0 if he got some help from Gurriel. Kind of misplayed a baseball. He'll do that, but he'll also make up for it with some crazy throw in a Denver game.
Huge cannon fucking arm, but yes.
Yeah. On offense, we had the Vladimir Guerrero show 4 for 4 with a monster 3-run home run in the third. He just loves Buffalo. Going back to last season, he just hits very well there. Gurriel also added a solo home run, starting to turn his bat around. And the pen got the job done. Mesa Dolis had quick innings of work, and Romano survived the 9th inning, kind of struggled a bit, but they got through the game.
Yeah, that was, Rowdy Ray cruising. A lot of things just going well. I don't know. Yeah, not much to really dig into in that one. It was just a very positive experience as a Blue Jays fan. Been a lot of up and down of late, so that was kind of a nice one. Tony, you want to hit the next game?
The game that took place on Wednesday, June 2nd was far from routine, even though we thought it would be, because it was Alex Manoah Day. We saw we did against the Yankees.
Alex, holy shit, Anthony.
Oh my God, whatever. Okay, Alek Manoah. Okay, it was Alek Manoah Day. He was so great against the Yankees. We thought, the Marlins, this will be easy. But it wasn't. He threw 74 pitches through 3 innings, 3+ innings. He gave up 3 home runs. It just wasn't great. But luckily, the Blue Jay bats came through late in the game. They were down 6-3 in the 9th inning, 5-3 in the 9th inning. Bo 2-run triple, and then the sac fly from Joe PANIK, who had a pretty nice week, I have to say so.
Joe PANIK's been getting hot and coming up in clutch situations, which is hilarious.
He looks so much better. I don't know what it is.
I looked at his numbers. I think Joe PANIK's a guy who you remember all of his hits.
Yes.
So you kind of think he's doing better than he actually is. Because I looked at it, and it's like he's got a 280 on base. He's 6.72 OPS.
It's the clutch factor.
Exactly.
It's the Ryan Goins clutch factor. Like, that's what we're going with Joe PANIK.
Yeah. The World Series pedigree, big time experience. That's what he's bringing. So, yeah, it was a fun one. So they took both games in the 2-game series from the Marlins.
Yeah, the Manoah thing, not ideal. You'd love to see him dominate, but the fact that he didn't seem all that bothered by it, you know what I mean? Took it as a learning experience. Basically said that he's had worse days in his life. He'll be able to deal with this, and he'll take it as a learning experience, move on. Positive. It sucked. Jay still managed to eke out a win, and he doesn't seem like he's rattled by it, which for young pitchers, that does happen. Nate Pearson's still trying to figure it out in Buffalo, and he got tagged again.
Was it as bad as his stat line said? Because apparently he had one big bad inning.
So, yeah, he had a blow-up inning. I think it was the 2nd inning. He allowed a couple of dingers. I think he allowed 3 or 4 runs. It wasn't good. And then he got it together, K'd a bunch of guys. And again, we've been seeing these Nate Pearson stat lines where they're 3 innings, 4 innings. He strikes out 7 or 8 guys, but he throws 70 to 80 pitches. So it's not sustainable. And now he's giving up runs, and he's getting tagged for home runs. The things that never happened to him before. So he's working through that, and it seems to be like a blow up spot here and there, and then he locks it in. So we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen with
Steven Matz effect.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk more about Matt's.
Yeah, sorry, we'll get to it later. I was just saying it related because usually with his starts, it's like, he pitched great, and then there was that 1 inning, and that seems to be what Pearson's going through.
Yeah. That's true, actually. The Mets does have the blow-up inning that
we can
kills you.
Yeah, we can get through the next series now. The Astros series, we had 2 off days in between that series. Jays lost the first game, didn't even really show up, lost 13-1, absolute slot fest.
One of those Jesus, that one was terrible.
If you're at home watching, it's a Friday night. If there wasn't a pandemic here in Ontario and we could go out and you were like, I wasted my day on that, that's what you'd think. But since we had nothing better to do, that was not a big issue. Ryu started for the Jays, looked great through 3. Thought we were getting a pitcher's duel with Greinke, and then everything kind of fell apart. Gave up 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and then a grand slam in the 6th before being pulled after just 5 2/3. The pen was also terrible. Tyler Chatwood. Holy hell. This is the stuff I was concerned about before we got him. We got him. He pitched great, and now it seems like he's back to his old ways.
Just walking all of the people. All of them. Literally everyone back to can't find the strike zone. He got an out today. I don't
closed
know
it out
else.
today.
Honestly, I don't know what else to say with Tyler Chatwood. It's none of it's really all that positive. He's gonna have to figure it out. But it's just, God damn it, it's painful watching him walk the world at the moment.
Well, that was when they got a lot of help from Buffalo effect was in full effect in that game. The Carlos Correa home run, it was like a one-hander.
The jet stream out to left field is pretty wild.
And the Maldonado one too was a big high fly ball that kept going. That's our home park, so
we benefited from a lot too. So can't really complain.
Yeah.
Defensively was also bad too. We had a mental error, Bo an effort error. Lourdes had a mistake. I think
Randall.
Jansen made an error on the base paths. It was just battle around.
Yeah, he did. He got thrown out at second because he wasn't running out a single that ended up dropping, where he then tried to get 2, and then it was a mess.
And the only bright spot was the Randall Grichuk continuing to hit well, got a home run, and the Cup Tower, which actually made me upset because I'm so jealous of Buffalo. The fact that they're enjoying our team, I'm liking the atmosphere they're creating for us, but just watching that Cup Tower, I'm just like, man, these are things we should be enjoying. And we
should be
can't.
Pounding beers and smashing them into the Cup Tower. That should be happening. Although I don't think the Rogers Center allows that, which is just another reason I would like to be.
Definitely not. No.
I think they even took that guy. He had to bring his tower up.
Actually, you know what? We might, the 3 of us, when they allow games back at the Dome, might have to try to create the biggest Cup Tower possible.
There's too many cans, though. People get the big, tall cans, and it's tough to.
Right. That's the better deal. The big cans.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. We'd have to get mixed drinks. Yeah. I don't see where this is. Yeah, this isn't going well.
They do that at TFC games where they give you mixed drinks, but I don't know if did they do that at Jays games?
You can get them because I know they have, and then they have it's like a canned vodka 7 tasting thing. Yeah, they have shit like that. It's not the greatest.
Rogers ruined Cup Towers.
Honestly, I'd kill for it though. At this point, this is where we are. This is what's happening.
We're dreaming about Cup Towers.
I know, right? God, where are we?
We're going to Saturday. Somebody's got Saturday.
Saturday, June 5th. Now that game yesterday, that was a fun one. It was Ross Stripling went out there, went 5 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned over that period of time, 4 Ks. He benefited
went
from
an extra inning.
Yeah, of course.
But
we have to before we get into the runs, we got to talk about Lourdes. Talk about throws earlier. He threw out Miles Straw from the fence, going from second base. That was as good as it gets, honestly. As fast as Miles Straw is, when it happened, I'm just like, oh shit,
Was that better than his one he had in Houston? Because he had that flat-footed one. I thought that was one of the best throws I've ever seen from an outfielder.
That's true.
It was also flat-footed too. I
think
thought.
he. Well, no,
this one he stepped into a little bit because he was tracking it, caught it, and was able to step into it. That flat-footed one was insane.
Wasn't on his back footing, just
this one was still on a line,
the fastest guy on the team, one of the fastest guys in the league.
In the league, exactly.
Yeah.
That's another layer of this that makes this one all that more impressive. Is that exactly you gunned down someone of Straw's speed, that you were actually able to do that and fairly he was DOA at the plate.
He couldn't believe it that he was out at home.
Yeah, you can see the safe thing, and then he's looking around. It was oh my god! It's just right. Yeah, exactly. No one argued. He was right into the dugout because everyone knew he was DOA at the plate.
Yeah. Well, Correa was telling him to slide, and he ignored it. His ego was out of control. So, anyways,
that's actually
the 4th inning.
It's great that you bring that up. When do you see that? When the teammate is telling him to get down and the guy doesn't slide? Like
He's not used to it. I don't know.
Thinks he's too fast for his own good.
Yeah, clearly. In the fourth inning, the Jays, they were down 1, but then they strung together a few hits. We had an RBI single from Lourdes and Joe PANIK, 3-run home run.
come through in the clutch again.
He came through big time, crushed it. And then the fifth inning, Vlad hit a bomb, 2-run shot.
That slider middle.
ball.
Oh my God.
His eyes were just fucking.
He hit that thing.
Yeah.
Well, he hit that thing straight up too, and it just kept going out to left field.
I know the camera, like I thought that's a no-doubter, but then the camera kind of made me doubt it for a second. But it was, but Urquidy was pitching and he was lights out up to that point. And then the fourth and fifth, they piled on. And that was pretty much it, and they won 6-2.
Got a little hairy there at the end.
Dolis situation. Yeah, you mentioned it with Stripling. Once again, I don't even know if we keep talking about this. Like, they just think he can throw 75 pitches and that's it with Ross Stripling.
I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Because at that point, was it 6-1 at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had a 5. Like, what's letting him go one more inning when he's at, 75? Like, what are we doing here? He's a starting pitcher. But again, and then Charlie... Then you could have had Thornton close it out essentially at that point. But no, we're just going to do this. Apparently,
they had the off days. They felt they needed to get them to work, but I don't know.
I don't get why Stripling keeps getting completely cut off. I get it. Sorry, this is the thing I said last time. I understand it. I don't agree with it. Mm-hmm. When you've burnt the bullpen out already, maybe protect from continuing to do that. I get you need to get them work, but at the same time, you never know when one of these starters is going to blow up and you're going to need the bullpen to cover, to backfill. You got to take advantage every time you can, and it's just getting.
If he keeps,
I'm talking about it every single podcast. I bring it up every time.
If he keeps going like this, though, and we're in the playoffs, and having a guy like that. Just so you can go to if a pitcher blows up early, just so you can like steady everything. That's going to be nice when he's actually in that role. We won't have to have these debates. He can throw 76 coming in the third inning, but for now it's annoying because it's like, we don't have, he's a starter and he should be.
It's that whole Rays mentality. What they do, they pull everybody basically at 5 innings. Rich Hill this week. 2 starts, 5 shutout innings, 60 pitches. They pull them. Like that's just what they do.
Yeah, can't go through the order 3 times. They just won't allow it. And
the Blue Jays are impersonating that, and they're winning games. But whatever.
Yeah.
We can get to today's game. June 6th, Jays lost 6-3. Matt started, was not very good. Didn't really locate too well over 4 1/3. Gave up 4 runs.
Definitely doesn't start well when Altuve with leadoff bomb.
No.
This is definitely not the way you want to start a game.
No.
That's how Stripling was starting games for a while, though, and he figured it out. So maybe that's a sign.
Get one out of the way.
Yeah.
The offense held in check. Garcia for most of the game had a late comeback attempt. Didn't really go well. The main talking point, I think, which shouldn't even really be a talking point, is Rowdy Tellez. This guy is just not ready. He's not. He should not be in the major leagues, and everyone kind of agrees.
He's there.
Well, he shouldn't be on our team.
He's there because of all the injuries. That's why he's on the team at the moment.
Yeah,
but it's really the only reason. That's his saving grace, is that there are so many hurt people that they need a body, and they need a body that can allegedly hit. That's what he's supposed to be there for.
Isn't Riley Adams crushing it in Myers right now? I'd rather him DH.
Well, remember when they had Riley Adams on the team, but not on the team? Like, they called him up for a game and he didn't play. That made no sense. Although he might have to play with Danny Jansen, left this game with a hamstring injury in the 4th inning. I guess we're kind of transitioning into, like, now that this game's over and looking into next week. So you have the negative of Danny's hurt. We don't know the extent of the injury, but he's got some kind of hamstring issue. On the positive, Springer was running the bases a whole bunch, playing in the outfield. Looks like he's probably good for a rehab stint. You got Thomas Hatch, who's allegedly good for another try at rehab. We thought he was coming back. That didn't happen. And Biggio apparently doesn't have any more pain with the whole cervical spine issue and is on a rehab stint as well. So that's all positive.
What's up with Barucki?
Still nothing, which is just, considering it was fatigue. There's a lot of fatigue, eh?
Really
and Merriweather is no longer coming up. I sent the tweet as a text to you guys when we were just talking about Hatch, and then that didn't happen. It's like, well, now Merriweather and Barucki aren't close either. And it's just like, what the fuck is
as
going
negative
on?
of an injury report as you can get. It was like, everything is not progressing well.
Once again, not trusting this team in the way that they handle injuries, which is just it's infuriating because nothing ever seems to be true.
Never meets the schedule.
Which makes me terrified about Alejandro Kirk since we've had no update at all.
Oh yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, we'll see him next year.
Fuck, at this point. Would that surprise either of you?
No.
Especially because we have other catchers who could come up soon. Guys like Moreno and Riley Adams. Like,
who the hell knows?
We're actually pretty blessed with our catching right now, with what we're getting, and not from the major league level, but for what we have in our system.
Exactly. You have lots of options, which almost every other organization in baseball doesn't, because the catching situation is, it's pretty barren.
It's also, if we look ahead to this week too, like the schedule starts to get very real for the next couple of weeks, starting with the Astros, which we struggled against the Astros this year, and got the White Sox, and going forward we got, I think, the Red Sox and the Yankees again. So not having these bullpen pieces back is tough. Having more injuries to Dane Jans is tough, and having just Tellez waste at bats is just, we're scoring at a good rate right now overall, but it's just.
Hopefully, what you're looking at is Biggio and Springer back by the end of the week.
That would be great.
You need it. And then Hatch, who knows? Because we all thought he was coming back as a starter, and at this point, now that he got shut down that last time, are they going to stretch him out, or are they just going to try to get him ready as quickly as possible because they just need another arm? Patrick Murphy's another guy that's been pitching. He's moved up to Buffalo for his rehab assignment. We saw him a very little bit out of the bullpen last year. That's another arm that's available to them, one that they like, guy that throws high velocity. I mean, speaking of him, he had to change his delivery. The game today, Garcia, I don't know what that. I get it. It's not a balk, but like watching that was infuriating thinking about Patrick Murphy. I get it. Patrick Murphy started and stopped his delivery, but the whole fucking tap dance thing on the mound, I guess it's one consistent movement into his delivery, but that was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, it always takes an adjustment. You have to adjust when you see that happen. You think this is not allowed, should not be allowed, but
right, exactly.
It's all right, I guess. But yeah, the Yankees are going to get swept.
Remember Carter Capps used to jump off the mound?
Oh, yeah, and he threw 200 miles per hour. Yeah,
it's one of the most ridiculous things I can remember. And he was 6'8", and he jumped at you and threw 100. But yeah, sorry about that. The Yankees struggling.
Well, awesome. They still play tonight.
But they've lost 2 already.
They don't score. It's really
and they got swept by the Tigers, which was that was awesome. Did you boys want to get into the foreign substance thing before we wrap up?
I was going to mention that. It's pretty.
We kind of have to get into it. I know we're a Blue Jays podcast, but we do touch on some of the bigger overarching baseball stories, and this is massive. For anyone who doesn't know, the MLB has started instituting rules against foreign substance use on baseballs. It's something that Trevor Bauer has talked about a lot. When basically no one listened to Trevor Bauer talk about it, if you look at his spin rate jumped in, and he won a Cy Young last year. And it seemed like he wanted them to investigate this so bad. And today his spin rate was down, or last night his spin rate was down about 200 RPM. Even better.
Garrett Cole's,
yeah. Garrett Cole's spin rate is the lowest it's been since his Pirates days. And for the first time all season, he gave up more than 2 earned runs, and he gave up 5 against the Rays in 5 innings. There's a lot of things that could happen from this. There's a video of James Karinchak, I think I sent to you guys. I know I've sent it to some other friends. He's a reliever for the Cleveland team. Watch him load up. You can hear the guys, because they were playing the White Sox, and it's the White Sox announcer that's mentioning it. you can see him here, I'll put it up to you can see him touch his thumb, like all of the fingers that are going to touch the ball. You can see him rubbing the inside of his glove to load up. This is a thing in baseball. This is a big thing in baseball. And the fact that baseball's taking it serious, this could get interesting fast.
And they really ever since those no-hitters happened, they started to, have to focus on it because people aren't really enjoying these pitching duels. And no one is ever happy with baseball. When it was so much offense, people were complaining. When there's so much pitching, it's complaining. This stuff's been happening. It was so obvious this was happening earlier in the year. We talked about it. Like, all these pitchers were just getting off to amazing starts, and now they're going to start focusing on it. It will be interesting to see, even with our team, if anything drastically changes.
And in division, what's going to happen to the Rays? Like, because here's the thing. I don't want to sit out here and be like, this team's doing it and that team's doing it and all these teams are doing it. The Astros clearly did it with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole clearly continued it. He's not doing it anymore. That's a lot of money that he got paid. We're going to see what type of pitcher he is. Trevor Bauer did it, won a Cy Young, but wanted to draw attention to it. He also didn't have the greatest start today. He wasn't atrocious, but he gave up a few more runs and hits and walks than he normally does. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to start to get interesting around baseball. Do we start to see what looked like an edge in pitching decrease a little bit? And who do you start to see it from? And what organizations start to falter?
Yeah. John Means is another one who was like, who grabs his glove a lot and whose spin rate has jumped crazily. He's just on the IL with a shoulder strain. Coincidentally, I don't know.
It's that there's a lot of guys to pay attention to. There really is a lot of guys to keep an eye on. And the funny thing is this made me remember, the organization that Karinchak originally came from. Remember the ball that got stuck to Yadi Molina's chest plate a couple of years ago?
Everyone thought it was so funny. How did that happen? Baseball.
And it's like, pine tar and blah, blah, blah. It's like, there was no brown marks. It was clear. This is the new wave. This is the stuff that people are talking about because everyone knows about pine tar, but that changes the color. Right? This is where it gets interesting to me, is what are they using? What are we going to find? What's happening?
Who do you think is most likely for the Jays to be caught with this?
Rowdy Ray.
That's what I was going to say. I'm nervous.
I was going to say he's had the biggest improvement.
How's his spin rate?
I was trying to think of guys with big time spin rate numbers. I think Matt's had spin rate number increases in spring trading.
We know Ryu is in the clear because he's like in the bottom of all that stuff.
That's true.
He's just legit.
He's just a pitcher.
And DeGrom's like that.
DeGrom's just broken, though. He's not a human. Yeah. He's a pitching. No. He's a pitching machine. Like, if you created, it's insane watching what he's doing now that he's thrown 102 and like 94 mile-an-hour sliders. And DeGrom is insane. It's amazing watching him. It's hilarious that the Mets are the Mets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like around the league. It's just everyone's doing it, right? It's almost everybody. So. I don't know. It's almost like the steroid situation where it's just so many people are doing it. You can't just get this one guy.
But this isn't making baseball more popular. That's the issue. Steroids made everyone love baseball.
See,
it was fun.
That's the funny thing. It seems to be as widespread as steroids was, but it doesn't have the positive reaction, like ratings wise, that steroid did with the offensive explosion and the home run races. People aren't as interested in these Cy Young races. You know what I mean? It's just not one of those things. So it's been fascinating.
I think if you did not see 7 no-hitters the first 2 months, you wouldn't have seen as much focus. Like if there was like 1 or 2 and people were still pitching very well, you'd be like, this is just like, it's just such a thing that sticks in people's heads, and it's so national that everyone's like, what the fuck's happening?
And look at the people throwing them. Yeah. How many of those guys are like established guys? I know no-hitters are always kind of random, but like look at the guys who are throwing no-hitters.
Exactly. That was the thing. Like, it wasn't just the elite of the elite, which again, it never is. And Philip Umber threw a perfect game. Like, that is a thing that happened. But
Dallas Braden.
Like, there are like 7, and like not one of them is like an all-star guy. Like, that's kind of weird.
One of them was a Yankee too. So,
But he was the one whose spin rate isn't up. He's the only guy who threw a no-hitter whose spin rate has not increased this year. So That's just the Texas Rangers are horrible.
Now
It's
he's
just-
hurt.
It's going to be fascinating to just keep an eye on this and see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
Because and who gets suspended and who does the MLB, because there's also going to be a picking and choosing thing here. Who's going to fall apart? Who's going to get nailed to the wall? How is this going to happen?
It's going to be Bauer because they fucking hate him. They're going to make him the poster boy. No matter
But
what.
Cole has been linked to this stuff for a very long time. There's always been stuff. Oh, this guy sold this to Garrett Cole and all this stuff, but no one cared. Now they do.
Exactly. That's the big one because he got the huge money too. He got the huge contract. He's part of the Astros that were already cheating. That's another thing that
I'm looking to
I think
Verlander too.
who had the
Mr.
resurgence, right?
Yeah.
As he came back to Houston. That's an interesting thing about Verlander is how much better he
Mr.
got when he went
Morals, Justin Verlander. We should talk about him.
Yeah.
there. Well,
You know all that, Anthony, right? Or no, Steve.
What?
Because he
Back
said
in the day when he was very, very against domestic violence, and then they acquired Roberto Osuna, and he didn't care. Is that what we're talking
Well,
about? I
it's not
thought it was
even
something. I thought it was
about the
something recent.
steroids.
I thought it was something
No,
recent.
no, he's always been like,
Oh yeah, and super
this guy did
anti-steroids.
steroids. Ban him
Ban
from
them
the
for
game
life.
now.
Oh yeah, exactly.
God.
Ban them forever. Exactly.
Unprovoked, just so annoying.
This is who he is until again, like the Osuna situation, which is worse. It's like real life issues.
Yeah.
He backed down pretty quickly.
So it's a Brian McCann too. But to give Brian McCann credit, like he was like on the verge of tears when it came to like the sign stealing situation. He's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to use it myself.
Sure, he was.
But he just let everyone else do it.
Allegedly.
So,
Allegedly. It's like AJ Hinch had nothing to do with it and tried to stop it. Yes, allegedly.
well, AJ Hinch destroyed the cameras.
Allegedly. Again.
And then they had set it up right afterwards. And
Right.
he was like, okay, whatever.
But by the way, why does Altuve the only guy that gets booed when there's Correa and?
That's
because of
Why?
the wire
I guess it's because
thing,
of the I guess it's because
he's caught with it, but
because you have the video of him being like, "Don't rip my shirt off." Like, I guess that's really what it is. Like, Correa's the vocal one who people want to shit on, but Correa's also doing well. So I think that's another reason is Altuve isn't. So that's why they all gang up on Altuve, although he's starting to heat up a bit.
Yeah, Correa's the one who was
dinger
like,
today.
yeah, Correa's annoying. He has no remorse whatsoever. Like,
He's
the
doing
one
well.
who should get it. He's the one
So
who
people
should.
stop. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
People don't boo him because then he takes their team deep.
I know he had a really good series. Altuve's been had bounced back this year.
That's what I mean. He's starting to come back a bit. He had a terrible start,
Yeah.
which was nice to see, but now he's starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the positive, three big names potentially coming back. Well, two big names in Thomas Hatch, who we got excited about last year. At this point, really is a lottery ticket we don't know much about. So, was there anything else?
it's like a
boys wanted
lottery
to get
ticket
to?
where you already got like 3 of the 6 numbers.
You feel
So got a
good
great
about it.
arm.
You feel good about
Yeah.
it.
Looks great in the uniform.
Yeah, but so did Brandon Drury, and we saw how that went.
He's back, by the way.
With
Getting
who?
regular playing time with the Mets.
I don't think he's playing.
It's
well,
the
is he?
Mets. Does that okay? Sure.
He's not
the
playing.
Mets.
He's not playing well, but he's playing.
He's back in
Major
baseball.
League, in the major league.
He's just got to get hit in the face and he'll be a star there forever.
He'll be a
Kevin
hero.
Pillar, oh God, that
They're
Kevin
gonna love
Pillar
Pilar
thing.
forever.
And that's fine. They can keep him.
And he's
Give him a
can have
lifetime deal,
I
whatever.
think Pilar's actually playing pretty decent too. So
Yeah.
he's doing Pilar things. I just looked at his numbers.
I was about to say, yeah, exactly. Do you really want him? Would you want him on the Blue Jays? Because I'm quite
No.
all right with
I
it.
don't know.
I'm
Exactly.
done with him.
But yeah, anything else you boys want to get to this week?
No, it's just Tony. Do you have any uniform analytics? We were gonna do
yeah.
that.
Uniform analytics. They were wearing a lot of blue jerseys this week. They wore the white today on the Sunday, which I feel never works out, and they lost. They went powder blue yesterday, and I think it was blue on Friday. I guess they tried to every uniform on the home series. You know, they should have just stuck with what worked on Saturday and just stick with the powder blue. I don't get it. I don't know what it's not even like based on wins and losses. It's like they have them pre-planned now.
They just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
As long as they're not the Arizona Diamondbacks and they don't get 15 different jerseys that make no sense.
Yeah,
Of a bunch of fucking, like, if you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, I encourage, if you haven't seen this before, I encourage you to Google the Arizona Diamondbacks uniforms and tell me that doesn't look like all of the options from Create a Team in MLB The Show. with the
so they have like
neon
light
and
blue.
the gradient.
It's
right?
like the NBA team now, because that's what NBA teams are doing with all the
Every
uniforms they
NBA.
have.
They all have like 4 ones with their 4th color as their main color.
Yeah, but that's like 4 jerseys. The Diamondbacks at one point had like 15. Like I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago. They had like 12 or 13 different uniforms.
They're not even nice. They used to
I
have better
know
ones.
they're ugly. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And the best part is like, why don't you just go back to the throwback ones? Those black ones were nice.
The purple ones were cool, and even the ones
those were
before this
dope.
rebrand. But
I
before this
love
rebrand,
the purple ones.
yeah, the red and the black ones were a very Arizona Diamondback, and they changed it.
Yep. I don't know. It's hilarious. But yeah, I guess that's it for this episode of the Toronto on Tilt Blue Jays podcast, episode 14. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. Like I said before, you can find our website, torontoontilt.com. You can find us on Twitter at Toronto on Tilt. The video of this podcast will be on YouTube, Toronto on Tilt. And of course, the audio can be found everywhere. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Google Podcast Store, Breaker, Bleaker, Anchor, all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next week, go Jays go, or Bisons.